Have you ever felt like there's more to reality than what meets the eye? That behind the surface of everyday life, there's a hidden current, an invisible language whispering to the subconscious, shaping outcomes, bending possibility, and manifesting desire. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating, mysterious, and potent tools ever discovered by mystics, magicians, and seekers of the unseen world sigils. These aren't just strange symbols or curious drawings. They're keys, symbols that unlock doors buried deep within your mind, and perhaps even reach into the very fabric of the universe itself. What if the reality you live in could be shaped not by hard effort or loud declarations, but by a quiet symbol drawn in secrecy and infused with meaning? Stay with me, because once you understand how sigils work, you may never look at symbols or your own mind the same way again. What are sigils? So what exactly is a sigil? On the surface, a sigil is a symbol, a visual shape seemingly abstract or unusual. But beneath that surface lies something far more powerful. Sigils are encoded expressions of intent. They are magical representations of desire transformed into visual form, designed to speak not to your logical conscious mind, but directly to your subconscious and through it to the hidden forces of the universe. The word sigil comes from the Latin sigillum, meaning seal or mark, and indeed they are seals in more ways than one. They guard your intention, protect its sacred energy, and deliver it beyond the realm of thought into the fertile soil of the subconscious, where it can take root and grow. Historically, sigils can be traced back to ancient times. In medieval grimoires, books of magic and alchemy, magicians and alchemists drew complex seals to invoke spirits, summon energies, or bind forces to their will. These early sigils were often intricate, multi-layered, and tied to specific deities or spirits. But in the 20th century, sigils took on a radical new life thanks to a British artist and occultist named Austin Osman Spare. Spare revolutionized the use of sigils by stripping away the ritualistic complexity and focusing on the psychological core. He believed that the real power of a sigil lies in its ability to bypass the conscious mind and implant an intention directly into the unconscious. He described sigils as the art of hiding a desire in a symbol, where it can be forgotten by the conscious mind and remembered by the unconscious. Why does this matter? Because once an intention reaches your unconscious, it no longer competes with doubts, overthinking, or resistance. It's no longer filtered or sabotaged by the logical part of the brain. Instead, it works silently, powerfully, and persistently beneath the surface. A symbolic language that speaks to the unseen. Unlike traditional forms of ritual magic, sigils don't require robes, altars, incense, or ceremonial chants. Their beauty is in their simplicity. A pen, a piece of paper, your intention and your awareness is all you need. When you create a sigil, you are distilling your desire into a pure symbolic form. It's not just about drawing something that looks magical, it's about encoding a personal meaning into a shape that you empower. This act of creation is a deeply intuitive one. It connects your conscious desire with unconscious forces, creating a symbolic bridge between thought and manifestation. But here's what's truly fascinating. Sigils aren't just found in magical traditions. They exist all around us. Think about corporate logos. Many of them function as modern-day sigils. They are designed to bypass your logical mind and embed themselves in your memory. They stir emotions, spark trust, or incite desire, all through symbolic design. Religious symbols like the cross, the Star of David, or the yin-yang are also sigils in their own right. They carry centuries of meaning and spiritual charge, often evoking a deep emotional and subconscious resonance. Even in art, tattoos, fashion, or architecture, symbols rule. Because at our core, humans are symbolic creatures. We respond more deeply to images than to words. Symbols penetrate layers of thought that language cannot reach. That's why sigils are more than just tools of occultism. They are part of a universal human experience, our oldest and most primal form of communication. They awaken something ancient within us. How do sigils work? So how does a simple symbol become a vessel for real transformation? It begins with intention. You start by clearly defining what you want to manifest, whether it's inner peace, confidence, love, creativity, or even external goals like abundance or opportunity. The key is clarity. Your mind must know what it's aiming for. Next, you take this intention and encode it into a symbol. There are many methods for doing this, and we'll explore some in upcoming videos. But the common thread is that your conscious desire gets abstracted, turned into a shape that the conscious mind can forget. And that's crucial. Because once forgotten, the symbol begins to work in silence, communicating directly with your unconscious. There, the intention bypasses resistance. It's no longer questioned, doubted, or analyzed. It simply is a seed planted in the rich soil of the psyche where it can sprout and grow. Sigils are like dreams. They speak in symbols, not sentences. And in doing so, they resonate with the same part of us that understands mythology, poetry, music, and mystery. This is why many magicians say that a well-crafted sigil works better the less you consciously focus on it. It's the act of releasing it, of letting go, that activates its power. But is it real? That depends on how you define real. If reality is shaped by belief, focus, and emotion, as modern neuroscience, quantum physics, and ancient mysticism all suggest, then sigils are not just symbols. They are instruments of creative will, tools for shaping reality from the inside out, into the mystery. There is a reason that symbols have survived every era of human evolution. From cave paintings to cathedrals, from ancient glyphs to modern design symbols, speak where words fall short. Sigils are the conscious use of this symbolic power. They are magic not in the fantasy sense, but in the psychological, emotional, and spiritual sense. They remind us that we are co-creators of our reality, not passive observers. They challenge us to turn inward, to speak the language of the unconscious, and to realize that behind every desire lies a key, and behind every key, a door. In the next part of this journey, we'll explore exactly how to create your own sigil, from intention to design to activation. And more importantly, how to use this ancient tool in your modern life to align your inner world with your outer reality. But for now, ask yourself, what do you truly desire? And what if the symbol of that desire could bring it to life? In our last section, we uncovered the hidden power of sigils, how they bypass the conscious mind, speak directly to the subconscious, and act as symbolic seeds planted deep within the psyche. Now let's go one step further. Let's see how these mystical symbols actually begin to bloom, transforming thought into reality. How sigils work. Continued. From a psychological perspective, sigils function like a powerful form of mental programming. Think of your mind as a vast and fertile field. When you craft and activate a sigil, you're planting a focused seed of intention directly into that field, where it can grow undisturbed by doubt, fear, or the interference of logic. Free from the noise of the conscious mind, this seed begins its quiet work beneath the surface. It starts to influence your thoughts, shape your perceptions, subtly shift your actions, and sometimes it even reaches outward, aligning coincidences, guiding synchronicities, and drawing events or people toward your intended outcome. This might sound mystical, but it's also grounded in modern psychological theory. Psychologists have long recognized the immense power of symbols and archetypes in shaping human behavior. One of the pioneers of this understanding was Carl Jung, who famously stated that symbols are the transformers of psychic energy. This insight aligns almost perfectly with how sigils are used in the world of magic. In essence, a sigil is not just a drawing, it's a psychic battery. During the creation process, you infuse it with mental, emotional, and even spiritual energy. You concentrate your focus, your desire, your visualization into this symbol, loading it with purpose and meaning. And then comes the release. Activation is the moment you discharge that built-up energy. This can be done in many ways: through meditation, through fire burning the sigil, through drawing and focusing, or through ritualistic gestures. Regardless of the method, what matters most is your connection to the process. Imagine releasing an arrow. You pull it back with clear aim and intent. You hold your breath steady, your hand, and then, when the time feels right, you let it fly. Once released, you no longer control the arrow's path. You trust it will find its mark. This is how sigil magic works. Once the symbol is charged and released, you step back. You detach. You let the energy move freely through your unconscious, through the patterns of your life, through the subtle threads of reality. And from there, the magic begins. You may begin to notice subtle shifts. A conversation that leads to a new opportunity, a sudden idea, a chance encounter. These moments may seem coincidental on the surface, but beneath them lies the unseen work of the intention you planted. In this way, sigils work not because they force reality to bend, but because they align your inner state with your outer world. They help remove resistance, sharpen focus, and allow possibility to enter more fluidly. Ultimately, sigils are so effective because they bring together three essential elements that lie at the heart of any magical practice. Intention, the clear desire or goal. Symbolism, the language of the unconscious. Detachment, the trust to let the energy unfold on its own. When combined, these elements create a magical flow, a quiet synergy between what you want, what you feel, and what you believe. Creating your own sigil. Now that we understand how sigils work, let's explore how you can create one yourself. This process is both intuitive and technical, a beautiful blend of psychology, art, and personal magic. Creating a sigil is not just about drawing, it's about transforming your desire into a shape that speaks to your soul. The symbol you create will be deeply personal, meaningful only to you, and charged with your unique energy. Here's how the process works, step by step. Step 1. Define your intention. Begin by clearly identifying what you want to manifest. This part is critical. Your intention should be specific, positive, and phrased in the present tense as though it's already happening. Avoid vague goals or negative phrasing. For example, instead of saying, "I want to overcome fear," a more powerful intention would be, "I am brave, strong, and confident." See the difference. The second phrasing creates a solid, empowered foundation for your sigil. It tells your subconscious that this reality already exists. You're simply aligning with it. Step 2. Condense the intention. Now take that intention and begin to reduce it into its most basic symbolic components. Start by writing out your full intention sentence. Then remove all vowels and any repeated letters. This leaves you with a compact sequence of unique consonants, the raw material for your sigil. Using our example, "I am brave and confident." Remove vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Remove repeated letters. You might be left with B, R, V, C, N, D, T. These remaining letters represent the essence of your intention, stripped down but still potent. Step 3. Design the sigil. Now comes the creative phase. Take the remaining letters and begin to blend them into a unique symbol. There are no strict rules here. You can curve the lines, flip them, overlap them, rotate them, let your intuition guide the flow. Some people draw a clean geometric shape. Others create something more abstract or organic. There's no right or wrong. This isn't about making something beautiful for others to see. In fact, your sigil doesn't need to be legible at all. What matters is that it resonates with you. It should feel right when you look at it, like a private emblem of your will. This is your moment to channel energy onto the paper. Don't overthink. Don't hesitate. Let it flow. Step 4. Charge the sigil. With the design complete, your sigil is now ready to be activated, charged with emotional and psychic energy. There are many ways to do this, and we'll explore them more deeply in the next video. But in essence, charging means focusing your attention, your energy, and your emotional intensity onto the sigil until it feels alive. Some prefer to charge through meditation, others through visualization, chanting, or even moments of intense emotion. Some burn the sigil afterward, releasing its energy into the universe. Others keep it hidden, letting it work from the shadows of the subconscious. What matters most is that you feel a genuine connection, a moment of intention fully released. And then you let go. You detach from the outcome, trusting that your desire has been planted where it matters most, deep in the soil of the unseen. So far, we've explored how sigils are created, how intention is distilled into a symbol that speaks directly to the subconscious. But creating the symbol is only part of the process. To truly unlock its power, that symbol must be charged and released into the world. Charging and activating a sigil. Once you've drawn your sigil, the unique symbol that encapsulates your desire, it's time to bring it to life. This step is about infusing it with your intention, your energy, your focus. There are many ways to charge a sigil, and each is valid as long as one key ingredient is present: emotional intensity. You might choose to sit quietly and meditate on the sigil, visualizing your intention as if it's already part of your reality. Picture it clearly, how it feels, how your life changes because of it. Let that emotion rise and pour it into the image before you. Or you might prefer a more active approach, charging the sigil during a moment of high emotional energy while laughing, dancing, shouting, singing, or even during physical exertion. The idea is simple link the sigil to a moment of powerful raw feeling, because it's in those heightened emotional states that your subconscious mind is most open, most receptive. No matter which method you choose, the goal is the same: to saturate the sigil with sincere, focused energy. It should feel like you've transferred something meaningful into it, a spark of your inner fire. And once the sigil is charged, it must be released. This is the act of activation, the moment when you send your intention out into the universe. And again, the method is flexible. Some burn the sigil, watching it turn to smoke and ash. Others bury it in the earth. Some toss it into the wind, let it dissolve in water, or simply fold it up and hide it away, never to look at it again. There's even power in forgetting, to intentionally set the sigil aside and let it slip from your conscious memory. Why? Because detachment is crucial. Just like planting a seed, you prepare the soil, place the seed, water it, and then you step back. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the process. You trust that the universe, like nature, will handle the rest. In this way, creating and activating a sigil becomes a deeply personal and magical act. Every line you draw, every emotion you pour into it is a direct communication with the universe. It's not just an esoteric ritual. It's a reminder that you are a creator capable of transforming invisible intention into visible reality. As long as you trust in the wisdom of life and the power that already exists within you, the rest will unfold in its own perfect timing. Sigils in daily life and history. But sigils aren't only tucked away in mystical books or secret rituals. In fact, they're all around us, woven into everyday life, often unnoticed. Their essence goes far beyond the boundaries of occultism. Throughout history, sigils have played a central role in shaping both individual lives and collective cultures. In ancient times, sigils were used in magical and religious practices across many civilizations. One of the most well-known examples is the Seals of Solomon, intricate geometric patterns believed to grant wisdom, protection, or spiritual power. These symbols were often used in rituals or engraved into talismans designed to channel specific energies. During the medieval era, grimoires like the Key of Solomon included sigils meant to summon or command spiritual forces, each line drawn with purpose, each curve representing a hidden vibration. But over time, these symbols didn't remain hidden within sacred texts. They began to take new forms, evolving, adapting, and finding their way into the modern world. Today, we encounter modern sigils in a surprising place: corporate logos. Yes, just like magical sigils, these symbols are carefully crafted to carry intention and influence behavior. A well-designed logo, it isn't just a brand image, it's a visual message aimed at the collective subconscious. Take Nike's swoosh, for example. With one fluid motion, it suggests movement, speed, victory. Instantly, it evokes feelings of motivation, power, and action. Or consider Apple's iconic bitten apple. It subtly references the biblical fruit of knowledge, an invitation to explore, innovate, and challenge boundaries. It's more than a logo. It's a symbol that whispers of forbidden wisdom and creative freedom. Even the simple golden arches of McDonald's, with their soft curves and bright color, are designed to evoke comfort, familiarity, and instant satisfaction. Without words, they project an emotional experience. In essence, these logos are modern sigils, distilled intention expressed through visual design. They bypass logic and go straight to the heart-shaping decisions, perceptions, and desires. But the presence of sigils doesn't stop there. In personal practices, many people now use sigils in journals, artwork, or even as tattoos. These become quiet affirmations of personal growth, symbols of healing, transformation, or strength. For some, they serve as spiritual anchors. For others, as artistic expressions of deeply held truths. Sigils also live within cultural movements, especially in psychedelic art, visionary design, and spiritual spaces where symbols are used to stir introspection or communicate complex ideas beyond language. So what gives these symbols such timeless and universal power? The answer lies in the nature of symbols themselves. Unlike words, which rely on language and cultural context, symbols speak directly to the unconscious mind. They transcend boundaries. They cross languages, borders, and even time. That's why civilizations that never interacted across oceans and centuries still created similar patterns: spirals, mandalas, stars. These are not coincidences. They are echoes of something deeper, a shared inner language born of the human experience. When we look at the presence of sigils in both ancient ritual and modern design, we begin to see a powerful truth. Sigils are not just occult tools. They are part of a universal language, a way in which humans have always connected the visible with the invisible. Whether it's a magician invoking protection with a hand-drawn sigil, or a designer crafting a logo to attract millions, the intention is the same: to shape reality by speaking directly to the subconscious. And in doing so, sigils prove one thing without a doubt. The language of symbols knows no limits. It transcends logic, it touches the soul, and it continues to guide us silently, powerfully from the hidden corners of the mind into the heart of the world.